Hey, party people. So I just got in the mail my order from the Laura Lee Los Angeles brush launch, and that take has taken me like 15 times because it's just like a tongue twister for me. So anyways, I just got my order in from the launch and I ordered the brush set not only to test out for you guys, but also it just really struck my fancy for a couple reasons. But first, let me show you the brushes. So these 10 brushes are looking absolutely gorgeous. They feel incredibly soft. They are completely synthetic vegan brushes, which are the only brushes that I purchase and promote. But not only all of those things, I was really drawn to this brush collection for two reasons. Number one, the price point I felt was really good. The whole brush set was $45. You get 10 brushes and this really pretty bag. And then each individual brush is priced, I feel like, pretty fair and pretty reasonable, which I have to say, I love it when brush sets are sold like that as a bundle, but also you can purchase the brushes individually, because so many times I have purchased brush sets and then I really love one or two brushes within the set and I want multiples of it, but they don't make it. I'm looking at you, BH Cosmetics Mini Concealer Brush. I love this brush so much, but it's only sold in a set. And yes, I could just buy another set, but I want multiples of this one brush. The good news is there's actually a brush just like that in this set. So now I can get it individually somewhere else as long as everything works out today. So I really loved those 2 points. So I'm really excited to test this out for you today, see how it goes. Hopefully the quality is as good as I think it'll be. By the way, if you are new here, my name is Ashley Ellix and I would love it so much if you consider subscribing if you haven't yet by hitting that little red button down below. And then everybody make sure your bell is tapped. That way you actually get notified when I post more videos, which is 3 times a week, all beauty related and all cruelty free as well. But enough chit chat, enough jibber jabbing. If you are just as curious as I am to see these brushes in action, then you're in the right place. And all you need to do now is sit back, hang tight, and keep on watching. Boop! So I already primed my face, and to start off, I'm going to be concealing my discoloration and hyperpigmentation that I have on my cheeks before I go in with my foundation. So I'll be using the Tarte Shape Tape in light neutral for that. And I'm also going to be putting my hair back, so do not worry. I forgot for a second, but I caught myself. Okay. First brush. Let's go in with the L11, which is a nice flat Kabuki brush. I love these flat Kabuki brushes. I actually just started using one from Sigma and now I am obsessed. Okay, this is feeling very dense but soft at the same time. This feels lovely. And look at how much coverage I am maintaining right there, which is exactly what I need on my cheeks for that discoloration. Oh, wow. I also know that Laura Lee is obsessed with the flat top Kabuki brushes, so I was having high hopes for this brush and we'll test it with foundation right now, but so far feeling really good. So for foundation, I'm gonna use the Tarte Amazonian Clay foundation and I'm gonna go in with that same L11 brush and let's just start pressing it in. That's how I like to use my flat top Kabukis. Oh, by the way, these were packaged really nice when they were shipped to me. They were all individually wrapped, and then the bigger brushes had these cute little, they remind me of a Sneed from, what is that movie? The Lorax? I don't know why. They're just so, I don't know, they feel really nice. Anyways, they were packaged like that to help the brushes not get all crazy in shipping, and all the brushes came intact and nice and good structure. Pop it over the concealer we laid down and make sure it doesn't lift any of the product. Okay, so that went on very lovely, very nice. I like how dense that's feeling, but yet soft at the same time. I'm really liking that. And you know what? This brush has like a nice feel. It's not too heavy, but it's not too light. It's a good in between. That's what this brush set feels like with the price point and just the look of them and everything. It just seems like a nice mid-range style brush. So I'm liking that. I'm liking this so far. Do you guys like my gargantuan pimple guy that I have right there? He's angry. He's difficult to cover. He is just making himself known and I don't really appreciate that. But anyways, time for a little concealer, and I'm sorry to say I'm gonna be using the exact same brush. Not really that sorry, I guess, though, so you could see how multi-purpose it is. I use this kind of brush for foundation and concealer most of the time anyway, so I like that. But I'm sure some of you are like, okay, on to the next brush, please. But this is just what I do. Let's try to cover him up a little bit more. Okay, L11 one more time. Let's buff this out. Let's see how it blends on top of those multiple layers. Okay. All right, so it looks like everything applied really nicely. I'm really loving that, very seamless. And this is what the brush looks like after. So it is a white brush, but usually I don't have a problem getting product out. It doesn't stain or anything, so I'm hoping that's the same case with this. They're supposed to have some kind of crimping or something that goes on where it doesn't suck up too much product. I honestly don't know the logistics of all of that. This is how my brushes typically look after my foundation, so I don't know about that. But I'm gonna go ahead and set my face really quickly with my e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder, and then we'll move on to some more brushes because that's just been one so far. Wait a second, I just realized there was the under eye powder brush. I was thinking there's like no face powder brush, but I forgot. There is a little powder brush for underneath the eyes in here, which I love this brush set because looking at everything, I use every single one of these brushes. They are my favorite style of brushes and I'm super excited. Here's the other brush that I typically use. I'll either use this one from Sigma, which is much bigger, and I have little tiny eyes and a little face. And that's another thing is I know that Laura has said over the years that she has a tiny head and a tiny face, and I'm like, I can relate to that. So I was very hopeful that these brushes would be a little bit on the smaller side, and they are, so I'm excited. This one is much smaller. It's kind of like in between that one and the other one that I use, this little Real Techniques one. So it's like right in between. This one always felt a little too small. This one is beautiful, so I'm curious to see how this one will go for me. And instead of just being curious about it, let me shut up and try it, okay? This one, by the way, is the L12. I'm gonna give it a nice little good swirl and then tap it off, and I'm just gonna press that underneath. Feels really nice, and it is a very good size for my under eye right here. It's not quite as soft as this Sigma Spotlight Duster one is, but it still feels nice, and if you're looking for something a little bit smaller, this might be a nice option for you. But as far as just applying it, did a great job. Feels nice. Now, the rest of my face, I will use my Tarte Blendiful for because, like I said, there is no like large powder face foundation brush. That would be the only thing that's missing here, but I have like 5 of those, so I don't really need another one, so it's no big deal to me. Time for a little bit of contouring. So I'm grabbing this L14, which is like an angled blush brush or contour brush, however you like to use it. It is a little bit fluffier than I'm used to. I know she mostly said it's like more of a blush brush, so I'll use it multiple ways. But let's see how well it gets into the little nooks and crannies. Oh, it feels so soft. That's so nice. Soft, but like not so soft where you don't know if anything's actually working. It's like a nice balance. It's not scratchy or anything like that. I think it's like dense. It's dense, has a good texture, doesn't feel plasticky or anything, but it still has this soft, nice feel to it. Because have you ever used those like super soft brushes where they like have that plasticky feel? Yeah, they're super soft, but they like don't actually apply any product. This one feels like a nice balance, or so far, all of these feel like a nice balance. I'm gonna grab this little L18 brush and I'm gonna use it to contour my nose a little bit just because it seems like the perfect size. I might use this later for my eyes too, but it's like this one, this little brush will be a little bit too big for my nose. By the way, I didn't see, I'm using the Park Avenue Princess palette from Tarte for my contour, and I use the shade Princess Cut. Pretty much the only shade that I use in this palette, unless I want to do some bronzer with it. Oh, that is really nice little nose contour brush. It has a perfect amount of fluffiness where it doesn't deposit too much. Let's hit it right underneath the lippy too. So for bronzer, I'm gonna go in with the Cover FX Monochromatic Bronzer in Sun-Kissed Bronzed. That one. And the brush I'll be using is the L13. I believe this is actually what she said is a contour brush. I like brushes like this more for bronzing. Sometimes contour, depends what I'm in the mood with, but contour I do like a more angled brush like the one we just used. But let's see how we can do with this one. I feel like this, as far as size-wise, now that I'm looking at it, probably better to use this one as a contour and then this one as a bronzer, since you can get a little bit more area, but we're already here, aren't we? And that one did work fine. The angle did work fine, but yeah. Okay, let me take a little bit of this and just bronze up a little bit. I like that she didn't include like a big old bronzing brush because that's just never worked for me. Maybe because me and my tiny face and head, but also just because I don't want that much bronzer everywhere. I just want little targeted areas to add a little bit of glow. And especially up here on the forehead, I don't want to bring it down too much. That's depositing like a lovely amount. I enjoy that so far. Okay. Now for blush, I'm also going to be using the Cover FX Monochromatic. This time it's the Blush Duo in Soft Peach. I love this blush. It is so, so pretty, but I'm going to stick to just the matte side because I don't want to add any extra glow on our little friend over here. He does not need the spotlight today. So I'm going to be going back to the angled brush, the L14, to sweep this up higher. Ooh, that picked up a lot. Ooh. I'm gonna put my blush right up here. That's where I like to put it lately because I just feel like it makes my face look a little bit more lifted. I really like it for blush. That looks so nice. It just blends, the whole thing just blends so nicely all together between the bronzer, the contour, and the blush. And it just deposits a very nice amount. It's probably too soon to say, but this might be a fave blush brush of mine, which I needed. I didn't have a blush brush that I was like obsessed with. Okay, last face brush, and that's the highlighter brush, and it is the L15. I love brushes that are shaped like this for highlighter. Because I do like a lot of glow, they typically tend to deposit a nice amount of highlight. So I'm gonna go in with my Ofra Rodeo Drive highlight, and let's pop it right over here. It's like almost, it's not, what is, I don't know. I feel like this highlighter usually looks really glowy and I'll have to see on the playback, but right now it just looks a little drier than it usually does. So I don't know. I'm nitpicking, definitely, but I feel like that is what I'm supposed to do and like try to figure it out. Let's see how it goes on the nose. Yeah, it's like, I think I like a little bit more deposited, and you may be like yelling at me right now being like, it's enough, it's fine, but I am used to brushes like this being a little bit more depositing. I don't know what it is. This one I'm on the fence about, okay? This one's I'm on the fence. On my upper lip, I can usually get a lot more with this brush onto the upper lip. So I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm gonna step off for a second and do my brows. I do use a pomade, but there's no like brow brush in here, so I'm just gonna use what I usually use. And then we will do the eyes with the rest of the 5 brushes that we have. So now I'm gonna go in and start priming my eyes with the Abh Eye Primer. Now this eye primer is like a thick, almost concealer-like primer, which I love, and I love these brushes for it. So the Laura Lee one is the L17. The BH Cosmetics one that I mentioned in the intro of this video, I love for not only applying eye primer like this, but also for carving out my crease, for doing spotlights, for doing halo eyes. So I'm so excited to have a very similar brush. I'm hoping that it performs just as well, if not better. Here are the 2 brushes side by side so you could see what that looks like. They do seem very similar in size. The Laura Lee one seems to be just a smidge bit wider, like the tiniest bit. However, it is more skinny and slim as opposed to that BH one. You can really see the difference right there. So even though it's a smidge bit bigger, like width wise, I think slender wise, when you turn it to the side, I think I'm gonna like it even more. But we'll see. Let's start off with the eye primer, and then I'm gonna cut my crease in a little bit with it. And I'm really excited because, like I said, I love that brush so much. I would like to have several of it, but I'm not going to buy several brush sets just for 1 or 2 brushes in that Rose Romance set from BH Cosmetics. So work for me, work. I'm gonna put it on both sides. Wow, it gets extremely flat. That is nice. And I'm gonna kind of carve out a little bit on my ooh, that is very, very smooth. Okay, all right, and then apply it all over. You know, the BH one actually deposits more, which can be like a little too much sometimes, and I didn't even realize it until using this one. I like that this one deposits less, but it's actually just the right amount, you know? Yeah, that's really nice. I like that, I do. All right, I'm gonna set right underneath my eyebrows really quickly, and for that, let's use the L19. It's a nice little fluffy little, you know, type of brush. Let me take, I'm just gonna use the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette and dip into Rollin' in Dough. Okay, and then the star of the show today is actually going to be the ColourPop Midnight Masquerade Princess Palette. Love the Princess palettes from ColourPop. Oh my goodness. And I'm going to be dipping into Pip with the same brush that we were just using. I'm going to be placing it down onto the crease area, packing it on. That's a nice dense little brush. And then I'm going to be blending it out. I'm surprised there's not like a fluffy blending brush like a traditional one, but I'm sure pretty much everybody that does a lot of eye looks and stuff probably has a brush like that. But I'm going to be going back with the L18. I used this earlier for my nose contour and I really liked it. So I think it'll do a nice job on my eyes. And I just zoomed in a little bit so you can see everything a little bit better. So going in with that same shade and just buffing out that edge. The way I'm doing it is I'm putting it like vertically instead of horizontally like this. I'm turning it like this, and that almost kind of creates one of those fluffy brushes. It gives a nice blend that way, as opposed to doing it more horizontally. That's just going to be blending in this motion. I want to be lifting it up a little tiny bit. Now hopping back over to the L19, the smaller of that flat brushes, I'm gonna go into Merryweather, which is this beautiful little blue shade. No, actually, I'm still going in with Merryweather, but I'm gonna go in with the L16. It's like a pencil brush. This one will be a little bit better for detailed work, which is what I need right now. Okay, going back to the L18 brush. Let's very lightly dip into Merryweather and then give that a little gentle blend. Woo! Actually, this might be a little too intense for this. Let us go back in with this is L18. Sorry, the other one was L19. Buff that into the other shade we already blended with. All right, I'm gonna go back to that pencil brush, the L16, and dip really quickly into Merryweather and just connect the outer corners. Right here. Actually, let me take this denser one. It's a little bit big for this area, but I'll make it work. I'm just trying not to use any other brushes other than this that I could really test it out. Normally I would use something else right here though, just because this is a little bit big for that part of my eye. Okay. Still worked nicely though. Now I'm gonna go back in with that little carving brush, the L17. Oh, I'm loving that. And I'm gonna go back in with my Abh Eye Primer as well so I can cut the crease with this. I'm gonna need total concentration. So let's just focus in and watch me cut that crease. See how it goes. That's nice. That's nice. I like to kind of blend the sides into that shade we laid down. Before I move on to the other eye, I'm going to take the shade Dajali. I believe that's how you say it. That's like the one movie I haven't seen from Disney. I believe that's Hunchback of Notre Dame, or is it Hercules? Okay, the two movies. I haven't seen those two movies. I'm gonna ooh, this is nice. I'm gonna pack that on to what I just carved out. That is picking up beautifully. Wow. Oh, so pretty. Okay, I'm leaving this little space right here because I'm gonna be laying down Royal Ball in a second. Let me just finish this area of the eye and then I'll jump off into the other side. I wanna go in with, where did I put it? Here it is, the CoverGirl. It's the number 5 Exhibitionist Glitter eyeshadow thingies. And I'm gonna put some of that on the back of my hand. It pretty much matches what I just laid down, but I just wanna beef it up some more and I wanna see how this brush applies not this brush. I wanna see how this brush that we're just using applies these liquid glitters, because sometimes it can get a little bit patchy. So I'm just gonna put it right on top of that shade we just laid down. Oh, that's nice. That just intensified it a little bit. I love that. I love it. I'm going to take the shade Royal Ball, which is that pressed glitter. Yeah, they say don't put it around the eye area, but I break the rules and I just try to be really careful. And I'm just gonna put it right here where we left that empty space. Just press it. And then that avoids a bunch of fallout and some getting in my eye and stuff. Oh, freaking K. This is one of my fave palettes, but I haven't used it in a while. I just love what it does for me. I just do. But I'm gonna do the other eye really quickly, catch it up, and then we're just gonna do the lower lash line really quickly, and then some gel liner, because we got 2 brushes left to test out, just 2. So for the lower lash line, I'm just gonna go in, I think with just Pip, we'll see right here, that first like transition shade we were using. I'm gonna use the pencil brush, the L16, and just smoke out the lower lash line, blend it all out. I think just that shade should be good. Okay, you know what's nice about this little pencil brush? A lot of pencil brushes can be like really stiff. This one has a nice bend to it that you can place the product down in a certain area, but then it's enough bendiness to it that it blends out really nicely. That's a really nicely blended lower lash line. I've honestly never found a pencil brush that I love, so this might be a contender. This is real nice. I'm gonna go back over to what I think my favorite brush is though, the L17. I love this little carve out brush. It says it's called the lid shader brush. Let's test it out with the matte for a second. Let me add a little bit more of Merryweather and put it onto the outer corner just to beef it up a little bit. Yeah, it might be nice with mattes, actually. I mean, I'd have to see it not on top of something, but ooh, okay. I'm gonna need some more of this brush. These are only $5. You bet your sweet Bippy, next time I need to place an order, I'm gonna buy like 4 of these guys. 4 for $20, that's like the price of 1 brush in some cases. This, I love. Okay, I love it. All right, cool. Neat. Now let's go in with some eyeliner. I'm really excited for this eyeliner brush, the L20, because look at how sharp that point is. That looks really, really nice. I'll be honest, when she showed it on her reveal video, I was like, it still looks too fat, because a lot of eyeliner brushes like this, the little skinny pencil ones, can be too fat. You go to use them and they're just like too thick, doesn't work out. This, on the other hand though, actually does have a point, and I don't think the camera can pick it up that well until you see it in person, so I probably didn't even demonstrate it that well. It looks perfect, quite frankly, but you never know until you try it. So let me take this Sigma Wicked gel liner. I've actually never used this gel liner before. They just sent it to me in PR, but I've heard amazing things about it. Ooh, and that's creamy. So that is nice. Let me load up this brush. That looks good. Okay, now I'll line my eyelid. Okay, that even went over the glitter nicely. It's sharp, it's nice, it's not fraying. This is the pencil liner I've always wanted. Okay, let me show you my other ones and why I didn't like them. Okay, what a difference. Okay, these are my 3 ones. So this is the Laura Lee one right here. You can see that nice little tip. Yeah, I don't have any product on these, but these just, can you see that Bendelum one in the middle? That's all frayed and crazy. I used it 1 time, cleaned it, and then it looks like that. So hopefully this one maintains its shape. That's my only concern. But this one, even the first time I used it, never got that good. And this one's like 3 times the price. I want to say this was like 13 bucks for this one. This BH Cosmetics one came with my Rose Band set. I never liked it. You could see how like it's just chopped off on the top, just, and then it's wacky and all frayed and stuff. This is nice and pointed and smooth, and it went on beautifully. I mean, I still need to do my other eye, but you get the hint. That is lovely. I'm not doing a wing with this look, but I cannot wait to do a wing with this because I think it's gonna be real nice. Okay, let me finish up my other eye, throw on the lashes, just finish everything else because that's all the brushes, and I'll give my first impression thoughts, what I'm feeling, what I'm liking, and we'll talk, we'll discuss, we'll talk, we'll have a quick chat. All right, completed look is all done, and if you have any questions about what I used today, maybe like my lips and stuff that I'm not talking about, it's always listed down in the description box below. But let's talk about this brush set, the star of the show. All right, so overall, like first impressions, I'm really loving this brush set. I feel like the quality is very, very nice. I love how soft the brushes are, but not so soft that it doesn't pick up product. I feel like it picks up a good amount of product, good pigment, and it's still blends because, you know, you need a nice balance. You don't want something to take up too much product, but you don't want it to take up nothing either. I feel like this has a very nice balance. Overall, I feel like the stars of the show really are the face brushes. I'm loving that flat top Kabuki brush. It's beautiful. Pretty much all the face brushes. The only one that I'm not obsessed with is the highlighter brush, which I'm very surprised. I thought that was like a shoe-in for me. But I think if you like a softer type of highlight, you would actually like it because it won't deposit too much product on there for you. So for me, like I said, I like a Bangarang highlighter. So this for me isn't great, but for you, it might work out depending on how much glow you like to have. And then for the eye brushes, I feel like they all did really nice, but you know my two favorites that really stood out, okay? The L17, that little flat, they call it the eye shader brush or something. To me, this is like a mini concealer brush and it just carved out the crease so seamlessly, so smooth. Like I said, I thought I loved the BH Cosmetics, the Rose Romance one I was using before, but now I feel like that one deposits too much product. This deposits just a little bit, just enough. You don't need a thick layer, just smooth it. Gonna be buying at least 4 of these. Seriously, I love it. Wow. And then the eyeliner brush has to be the #1 surprise because I was just kind of writing it off when I was ordering it. I'm like, that probably won't work because it just didn't look like this in the video. It looked thicker, but it's probably just really hard to video it and show you proof, but it is so skinny, and I've never found one that truly is skinny like this, and I'm really excited for that. Miss Laura Lee, you nailed it. Congratulations. Good job. Good job all around. I'm really enjoying this brush set. I love the price point of it. $45 for 10 brushes and this cute little bag. And also they're sold individually if there's just certain ones that you want to pick up. Let me know your thoughts down below. Did you pick up any of these brushes for yourself, or are you adding them to your wish list, maybe for the holidays? I know that most of them all sold out pretty quickly that day, but she said she's hoping for a restock around November. So, you know, you could add it to your holiday wish list if you want that, but make sure whoever's shopping for you is on it because they're probably going to sell out real fast again. Before you click away and before you move on to another video, I would love it so much if you consider subscribing by hitting that little red button down below, and then make sure your bell's tapped that we get notified when I post more videos. If you also would like to get a little bit more extended content from me, make sure you are following me on all my social media channels, which would be Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, which is always up in the air, Pinterest even, I'm on there if you want to see a bunch of fall stuff, because that's all I'm doing right now is pinning fall stuff. That is where you can find me. So come and hang out, but in the meantime, I hope that every single one of you out there, every single one of you, have a great, freaking, awesome, wonderful, beautiful, lovely, happy day.